In this lesson, we are going to talk about money. Now, everyone loves money because you can buy things. But it's also very important to know how to count your money and what each piece of money is. So take a look over here at our money chart. We love money, don't we? All right, a penny. A penny is the one you've probably seen the most. It might be on the ground, it might be in your pocket. It's the coin that only equals 1 cent. Can you say 1 cent? Good. So 1 cent can be written in many different ways. It can be written with the number 1 and a C with a line through it, just like this. This is a cent sign. So that's short for cent. So it's 1 cent written that way, or you can also write it as a $0.01 to show there's only 1 cent out of the entire dollar. But the way you're probably going to see it the most is this way up here with the 1 cent. All right, so now to count pennies, you would count by ones. So now you're seeing in our lessons before this where we skip counted by 1s, 2s, 5s, and 10s, that's coming back so that we can count our money. So if you have 5 pennies, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents. Okay, so the nickel. The nickel equals 5 cents. So it can be written with the 5 with the cent sign, or the $sign with decimal 05, or written out with the word 5 cents. Now, if you notice, 5 pennies equal 1 nickel. When we counted by ones here, we got 5 cents. Well, if a nickel is 5 cents, that tells us that 5 pennies equals 1 nickel. Now, to count nickels, because they are 5 cents, you would count by 5s. So if you had 5 nickels, you would count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And so 5 nickels equals 1 quarter. Wow! And that's such a fast way of counting to 25 cents. Now the next coin we are looking at is the dime. The dime equals 10 cents. So it can be written with the 10 with the cent sign, $sign, and this time you have a decimal, but it's 1 0, not 0 then the number, but decimal 1 0, because now we have a full 10 cents. Or it can be written with the number 10 and the word cents. Now, 10 pennies equals 1 dime. So 10 pennies would equal 10 cents. 2 nickels equals 1 dime, because you have 5, 10. 2 nickels are 5 plus 5, which equals 10. So to count your dimes, you would count by tens, like we practiced earlier with the multiplication chart or with the number chart. We count, if we have 5 dimes, we'll go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, because we're adding 10 every time. And then our last one that we won't work with as much in first grade, but it's good to know what it is. This is a quarter. A quarter is worth 25 cents. It can be represented with a 25 with a cent symbol, or the $sign, decimal 25, And remember, it's decimal 25 because there's 2 sets of 10, or written with the number and the word cents. And to count quarters, you would count by 25, which we're not going to learn how to count by 25s this fast, but you can know 25 cents, 2 of them is 50 cents, 3 would be 75, and 4 quarters equals $1. Okay, so now 2 dimes and 1 nickel would equal the same amount as a quarter. So on your paper, you're going to identify money, but on another resource, you'll also practice counting money. So if you take a look up here, I'll show you how before you go to that resource, okay? So you have 4 pennies, 2 nickels, and 1 dime. So let's just start with the easiest way to begin counting, our dime. All right, our dime equals 10 cents. So we'll start counting with 10. And the next is our nickel, which equals 5 cents. So it's 10, 15, 20. So now we're up to 20 cents. Then we make that 21, 22, 23, 24. So when you are adding money, it is very, very, very important to continue counting in the same pattern. You don't want to say 10 cents and then 5, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, because then you don't know how much it all equals. You know what each coin was individually. So remember, you look at it, oh, a dime, that's 10 cents. Then 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now, there are going to be some problems that want you to think through the financial literacy of everything. So it might tell you little Bobby was feeding people's goldfish for 2 cents a fish. And he fed 6 fish. So if he fed 6 fish, we're going to draw 1, 2. So that's 1 fish. Then 2 fish. 3 fish. 4 fish. 5 fish. 6 fish. Okay. So a penny equals 1 cent. $1. Okay, so 1 cent per penny. So that means we can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So he earned 12 cents by feeding people's goldfish. But then he did his friend's trash, he took out his friend's trash for 5 cents a bag, and he took out 2 bags. So now he has 2 nickels that are 5 cents. So now we have 5 tens. So we have 12 plus 10 cents. So that equals 22 cents that he earned all together. So you will have some problems where you're going to have to read very carefully and do the math to add up how much they earned in all. Okay. So continuing on with our lesson on money, it's important to know that money has to be earned. So you do have to provide some goods and services like selling newspapers or working at a restaurant, or things like that to earn money. I mean, you could even clean your room for your parents. You could walk the dog. Anything that you're doing to earn money is called earning an income. So income is the amount of money you earn by working. So that's just something important to keep in mind. Now, let's take a look at each of the coins before we start talking about kids that are working towards earning their money for their things that they would like. Now, right here I have an example of each of the coins. Okay? So right here I have a quarter, I have a dime, a nickel, and a penny. Now, as we talked about on the board, but sometimes it's easier to see the visual, is that 5 pennies equal 1 nickel. Okay? So, 5 of these equal 1 of these. Now, 2 nickels equal 1 dime. Okay? Now with a quarter could be 25 pennies. It could be 5 nickels because you count by fives. So if you had 5 nickels, you would see that they equal 25 because you'd count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So if you count by fives, that would give you your number. Just like with our pennies, we count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with a dime, we would count by tens. Now, because it's equal to 10, it wouldn't equal 25 cents. You would have to have 2 dimes and 1 nickel. So it'd be 10, 20, 25. So these are the ways that we would count with our money. And this just gives you a visual with actual money. Now, on your practice, it's going to have word problems that tell you a certain student may have walked a dog, cut the grass, raked leaves for so much money. And then they use that money to buy equipment for their business. So with first grade money, you learn not only to identify the coins that are here, but you'll also learn just a little bit on how you earn money and spend money. So let's say that you raked the leaves for your mommy and daddy, and they were paying you 10 cents a bag. And let's say you were able to rake 2 bags worth of leaves. So that means you would get 2 dimes, 10 cents per bag. So it'd be 10, 20. But then let's say they also said, okay, now if you will walk the dog 4 nights in a row, we will give you 50 cents. So you're like, okay, of course I will. So you walked the dog for 4 nights and you got 50 cents. So now you have 25, 50. This is only adding 10. So 60, only adding 10, 70. So you have 70 cents, okay? 70 cents. Now let's say they were like, okay, now if you clean your room, even though you're supposed to, we will pay you 5 cents. So you clean your room and you get 5 cents. And let's say they tell you, okay, now for every For every book you read will give you a penny. So you read 4 books that week. So now you get 4 cents. So let's count all of that. 25, 50, adding 10, 60, 70, adding 5, 75, and now adding 1, 76, 77, 78, 79. So in a week, you made 79 cents. Now, you may want to use that change to buy an ice cream at school. Well, let's say an ice cream is 15 cents. All right, so we take away 15 cents. Let's see how much you have left. 25, 50, adding 10, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. You would have 64 cents left. All right, well now it's time for you to go ahead and practice on the resource provided and use money at home too. Just like I did over here, I put out different amounts of coins and I would count them. Go ahead and take the time to do that too. Get familiar with pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. All right? If you do that, then you'll be more familiar with them and how much they are, which will make it easier to count. All right? All right. Go ahead and go practice.